Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of Empire Jeff TV. I am your host, Empire Jeff, coming to you here on a Saturday night, live from Los Angeles, California, tonight where the Los Angeles Lakers, man, get bodied, absolutely bodied in game one of the NBA playoffs in Los Angeles, California, 117-95 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack here. A lot of frustrated Laker fans out there. I'm one of them, but, these things happen. And, never want to lose game one. You never want to lose game one at home, and put your team in a really bad spot moving forward, theoretically making game two a must win. You can't lose the first two games at home and then go on the road to Minnesota and expect to make this a series. It's going to be really hard to pull that off. It's going to be really hard to try to expect that. And this Laker team dug this hole, and now they are going to have to dig themselves out of this hole. Now, are they capable? We shall see. They've got the pieces to do it. They've got Luka. They've got LeBron. They've got AR. They've got Dorian Finney-Smith. They've got Rui. They got guys that can do it. But the guys got to do it. And Luka carried this team out the gate. He was incredible to start this basketball game. He had an overall strong game, but wasn't enough. LeBron didn't score at all in the first half. He didn't get going. Austin had a rough start. Lakers looked really good in that first quarter, and then everything just went to hell after that. We've been on the other side of this. We've had games where we've lit it up. Once teams are seeing red like that, when everything they throw up is going in, you're kind of cooked. There's really not much you can do other than wait for the miss, pray for the miss, and pray for them to calm down. It just never came. Scored over 60 points from the three-point line tonight. And when you got a team shooting like that, they're going to beat you 9 times out of 10. And especially when they shoot like that for that long, they're going to beat you. And Lakers have had games like this. They went into OKC, went ballistic in that first half, club record from three-pointers in a game. We've seen it on our side. Now it's happened to us. And now the Lakers got to bounce back. They've got a 2-day turnaround here. They got to put things back together. But JJ Redick and his coaching staff are going to have some adjustments to make. They're going to have some things they got to work on. They've got to work on their defensive rotations. They got to work on some staggered offense. We're going to have to work on some things here to really get back into position to get game two, because like I said, you lose game two, that's all she wrote. That is all she wrote. And Lakers know that. Minnesota knows that. Pretty much everyone knows that. Now the Lakers got to get out there and handle business. Now, Luka, man, again, it's really hard to come down on a guy who put up the numbers he did tonight, 37 points, 12 of 22, 5 of 10 from three. He had 8 rebounds, but only had 1 assist tonight. Which is really bad for him. And like I said, LeBron James not getting going until the second half. He did finish with 19. But just it's really hard to expect one guy to beat a playoff team, even if you're at home. This team was a top seed last year. You know, they had some struggles this year. They've traded some players. They've moved on from some guys. Lakers had some shuffling too, obviously, with Luka, DFS. But they have no choice but to try to go get game two, because if not, you know, this series is all but over if they lose game two. So it's different. Like, you know, I didn't even realize. I mean, I think I knew it in the back of my head, but I didn't really correlate it until they actually said it out loud right before tip-off, that this was LeBron James' first game one, hosting game one as a Laker. Obviously, they had the best record in 2020, but that was the bubble. So the fact that this was LeBron James' first game one at home in a series of the playoffs is wild as a Laker, right? That is wild. So, and then they blew it. This is the highest seed they've been since 2020. The first time LeBron has hosted a game one as a Laker, everything going right for them. They worked their ass off to get to this point, and it was all for nothing in this game one. Now, it doesn't mean it's all for nothing for this series, but it was all for nothing for game one, because they did all that, put in all that work, and it was taken away like that. So the reason why this year is different, typically I'm not really too worried. Typically I'm not really tripping at the beginning of a playoff series when a road team loses game one. I typically don't really worry too much. I'm usually get, well, let's see how they do in game two. If they're competitive in the first 2 games on the road and they come home and they win 2 games at home, you're in a good place. You got all the momentum going back out on the road. But when you blow game one at home, then all that pressure is on you for game two. And if you don't get game two, it's over for the most part. We've seen times where it's very rare and it's weird, but where the road team wins every game in a series, right? It's very rare. It's weird, but it happens. The old additive, a playoff series does not start until the team loses at home, and they have lost game one. And again, losing game one is way different when you lose it on the road versus when you lose it at home. They're the number 3 seed. They've been good all year. They've been resilient all year. They've bounced back. They got guys to get it done. Now the question is, can they? So is it the end of the world? No, it's not the end of the world tonight. It could be the beginning of the end of their world this year if they don't win game 2. But it's not the end of the world if they win game 1 and they split in Minnesota. It's not the end of the world. But this does mean that this series probably won't be short unless the Lakers win 4 straight, which is going to be tough. It was going to be tough originally. Now it's going to be tough. They know they can beat you in your building. So it's going to have to be a lot of things. There's going to be second guessing. There's going to be couch coaches. There's going to be a lot of things. It does not matter who you played tonight, who you didn't play tonight. It doesn't matter when a team is seeing red like that. When they're making everything they throw up in the air, when everything they throw up goes down through the net, you're in trouble. Point blank, period. You could be the worst team in the league. You shoot like that against the best team in the league, you're going to win. Now, the question is, can they do this for an entire series? The thing with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they mentioned this on the broadcast too, and I had this. I often look at this stat multiple times throughout the season because it's a very important barometer to how good a team truly is. When a team is in top 10 offense and top 10 defense, that is a top-tier team. There are only 4 teams in the league that have that. The Minnesota Timberwolves are one of them. Now, while they're not a top-tier team, the fact that they are in that category means that they can play like it. They can play like a top-tier team. They can beat a top-tier team. So even though they're the 6th seed and they're the underdog in this series, record-wise, home court advantage-wise, they are one of only 4 out of 30 that are top 10 offense and top 10 defense. They've got Anthony Edwards. They're well coached. They're well prepared. They've got a good balance of vets and young guys. So this is a team that they can get you. They can get you. They can get you. And you're going to have guys where randomly go off. You're going to have a game where Randall has a good game. He had one today. McDaniels had one today. You're going to have a Conley game. You're going to have perhaps a DiVincenzo game. Alexander Walker. Like, you're going to have these games. These guys are the 6th seed in the Western Conference for a reason. Probably this is probably a disappointing season for them. They're better than a 6th seed. I'm not just saying that because they won today. I'm saying, look where they were the last couple of years. Look where they are now. They took a step backwards. Obviously, they traded Cat. They had some adjusting to do. They're still a good basketball team. And to beat a good basketball team, you're going to have to deal with guys coming out of nowhere on you. Jaden McDaniels probably will not shoot like this again in this series, but it doesn't matter because he already did. He already did it. He already had the game. You're not sitting back here wondering like, man, imagine if Jaden McDaniels goes off. Like, what are we going to do? He already did it. That's one game. Who's the next guy? Is DiVincenzo going to go dummy? Like, what's going to happen? What other guy's going to come out of nowhere, right? Is Gobert just going to have one of these games where he has a 20-20 game on you? Like, these are things that can happen at any time in one of these series, right? But that's where we got to be like, when is Austin going to get his 30, right? When is Ruby going to have his 25-point game? When are we going to have that 30-30 Braun Luka game? When are we going to have the double-double Jackson Hayes 15-10 off rim running? When are we going to have DFS with a 20-point game? Like, these things can happen on the Lakers side too, is what I'm saying. So as I typically say, after a Laker loss, especially one that a lot of people are frustrated, if this was game 2 and we were down 0-2, I would be like, guys, start making plans to do other things than basketball if you're a Laker fan and that's all you watch. But we're not there yet. We're knocking on the door after losing game 1, but we're not there yet. They win game 2, better space going back to Minnesota. You split one there and you're good. But they got to do it. They got to do it. And we will have to wait and see if they can. We'll have to wait and see if they can. But they put themselves in this position, and now they've got to get themselves out of this position. They've got the pieces to do it. I'm going to continue to say that because it's true. They have got the pieces to do it. Can the pieces fit together, and can they get it done? That's what it's going to come down to. Now, the coaching strategies is something that's very, very interesting to me. Very interesting because you've got a rookie head coach. You've got a very good coach on the other side and Coach Fitch over there. But you got a very good staff with this Laker team. So I suspect and expect that they're going to make some adjustments to kind of take away some things that they were giving to this team. They were giving shots to this team. They were making everything. But it was kind of by design they were doubling and helping on everything. They were helping on everything. And when you help on everything, and if you're leaving a corner guy and it's Randall, that's one thing. But when you're leaving the corner guy and it's Nazr Muhammad, that's another. You can't do that. Nazr Muhammad. Naz Reid. What am I doing? Took it way back. You can't leave Naz Reid intentionally open in the corner repeatedly, especially when he's hot, right? You're going to have to adjust that. You're going to have to adjust that. I know they like to switch on everything, and I like the double trap. I know a lot of things they want to do, but the problem is this is the playoffs. When other teams prepare for that, when they prepare for that, and they know what's coming, and you're not switching it up, they're just going to milk you, especially a veteran coach and a team that's been in the playoffs a few years here. So this is a veteran coaching staff versus a rookie coach, even though a very good coaching staff. And JJ is going to have to realize that they found some wrinkles within their offense there in defense, and he's going to have to make adjustments now. They made a little bit of a run. They almost made it somewhat exciting, but the problem is when you get down that big, you go on a run, the team gets their second win, they step on you again, and it's over. That's what happened today. So it's going to come down to Coach JJ Redick and his staff are going to have to devise a plan to get a little bit more creative, get a little bit more ball screens, a little bit more action, do a little different things on defense. Because this team can shoot the three, this team can score the basketball, and this team can defend. Like I said, only 4 teams in this league, top 10 offense, top 10 defense, they're one of them. Only 4. Them, Cleveland, Boston, OKC. Those are the 4. Now, Minnesota does not belong in the class of those other 3 teams. However, the stats say they do. The stats say they do. Their record doesn't belong in the same 60-win class as those other 3 teams. But that stat of top 10 offense, top 10 defense says they do. Says they do. And tonight they showed that out because they put up 117 and they kept them under 100. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense. So the Lakers need one of their out-of-nowhere games from one of these guys, and they need their 3 guys to step up. Now, this is one of the things that I've been saying, and this is not, no way, shape, or form, and I told you so moment because it's too early for that. So I want to be clear on this. It is too early for an I told you so moment for me, what I'm about to say. This isn't an I told you so. It's too early for that. However, having said that, I'm going to speak on a concern that I've had about our number 3 option. A concern I've had is, are we going to have a legit third guy come playoff time? Are we going to have it? That's been my question all year. You know this. I've said I really like Austin, but I've said my biggest question with Austin is, can he be that number 3 guy come playoff time? And I'm not talking about small forward. Can he be our third option? That's been my question. That remains to be seen. It's one game. Like I said, this is not an I told you so moment. This isn't a it's not going to work moment. It's not that. It's just a reminder that this is my question. And if Austin can have a 30-point game in game 2 and another 30-point game on one of these games on the road, then he'll start to answer that question. But if he has another game like today where he just was essentially nowhere to be found, I mean, he did get some points on the board, but they weren't impactful. They weren't loud buckets. They weren't loud points. They weren't anything that was swaying the game. LeBron too in the first half, right? So it's not just an Austin thing. Outside of Luka to start this game, it was pretty bad, the rest of the guys. And you had a really weird shift here where it's like they went on like a 23-6 run without Anthony Edwards. And then when Anthony Edwards was out after that cramp, like he came back and they went on. So it's like they had 2 different tales of when they were playing well when he was on the bench and then playing well when he came back off the bench after his injury. So it's Minnesota hit him in every which way. They hit him in every which way. Now this Laker coaching staff has to get in the lab, get to work. They need some film sessions, break this down. They're not sleeping tonight. No, they're not sleeping. They're already working right now. They're working right now. They're working right now. LeBron is working right now. They're working. They're doing everything they can to try to get game 2 and beyond. Can't do nothing about game 1 now. Can't do nothing about it. But you can do something about game 2. And if you do not get game 2, you are in a world of trouble. And your season is about to fall. And it's closing in on you. The walls are closing in. You don't get game 2, man. It is, this mic is not playing nice with me. If you don't get game 2, like I said, get ready. Get ready for a long offseason because it's coming. It's coming. Now, they're capable of it again. I'm going to continue to say this. They're capable. We've seen this all year. They've got the guys to do it. They got Luka. They got Braun. We need our number 3 to step up. We need our rest of our guys to step up. We need our coaching staff to step up. We need our defense to step up. We need all these things to happen and fall in line. Get game 2, go from there. On to the next one. So I'm sure there's a bunch of panic. There's a bunch of tantrums. I'm sure there's a bunch of all kinds of things going on tonight in Laker Nation. In the wonderful world of the Los Angeles Lakers, I'm sure there's a lot of freaking out going on right now. And it's okay. It's okay. No one wants to lose in the playoffs, right? That part, it is what it is. However, the series is not over in one game. This can go 7. Especially now that they've lost game 1. But they got some work to do. They got a whole lot of work to do. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Once again, I'm Empire Jeff. This is Empire Jeff TV on the Los Angeles Lakers post-game show where the Los Angeles Lakers lose game 1 of the Western Conference NBA playoffs, 117-95 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, downtown Los Angeles tonight. Luka Dončić was incredible to start this game. 16 points in the first quarter, 20 points, I think, in the first half, 37 for the game. I don't even got the box score up in front of me because it doesn't matter. This game is so much more than the story of the box score. But I'm just saying, get game 2, Lakers. Get game 2, or all that you did to get that 3rd seed, other than to make sure Atlanta doesn't get too high of a pick on a year they have your pick. Outside of that, you really didn't help yourself this season. You overachieved. We didn't have anyone thinking you were going to get a 3rd seed. We didn't think we'd have Luka. We didn't think we'd have DFS. We did. That was stuff that came out of nowhere, but we can't think like that because we're here now. We're here now. Again, if you would have told me in October, November, December that we were going to be the 3rd seed, have Luka, have DFS, Braun was going to have an incredible run during this season, Austin was going to take another leap. Like I've talked about all this. If you would have told me this in those months, I would have took it 10 out of 10. But we got it. We accepted it. We got used to it. And now we're here. We're not the 3rd seed in the Western Conference by accident. We're 3rd seed in the Western Conference because we earned it. Now they got to get out there and earn it again. Earn home court advantage again. Get game 2, get game 3 or 4, get home court advantage back, shut it down, get to round 2. I can tell you this, they're not going to be the only team that struggles in round 1. They're not going to be the only top seed that struggles in round 1. There will be top seeds that get booted, including the Lakers. They don't get game 2. It's going to be that important. Daniel Berry, what's up, my guy? He said, yo, hope you're doing well, man. Pathetic loss. Tough loss for sure. Craig, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. Hope you are doing well. Craig said Reeves and LeBron were terrible in the first half, cost them a chance to win the game. Yeah, I was feeling good after the first six minutes or so of that first quarter. But then every time the Lakers got separation, the Wolves just kept chipping away. And it was only Luka doing something. And they caught him, passed him, never really looked back after the facts. So we need more help to start the game. Didn't guard the 3-point line. No, they didn't. The Lakers are not a very good, the Lakers are not a top tier 3-point defensive team anyways. But again, when you got a team that's top 10 offense, top 10 defense that could hurt you in many ways, you kind of pick your poison. But you got guys out there who can take and make those shots. You got to be more creative. You've got to get hands and faces. Luka needs to get other players involved in the first quarter. Well, I mean, when a guy scores 16 in the first quarter, he did his job. Other guys got to fill the lanes. He's a willing passer. So if guys are going to sit back and watch and not work while he's cooking, I mean, I don't blame him for that. He was passing the ball. Dude's got to put themselves in position. Rui overhelping in the paint and leaving his man wide open in the corner was rough. And it happened, Nicholas. What's going on, Nick? That happened over and over and over. What's going on, Jasper? The last 2 minutes of this game was nightmare fuel. Yeah, it was brick fest, super brick fest. What's going on, Chris? Appreciate you, brother. This was a sad game. Where's the energy? It's definitely a sad game. These things happen. And unfortunately, happened to the Lakers tonight. And like I said, if they get game 2, we're okay. Get game 2. You just do this to my dog? You did this to my dog? He looks thrilled. Look at his face.
Very excited.
Oh my God. It's Easter tomorrow, and my wife has Lucky dressed up as an Easter bunny. This dog's gonna need therapy for this, man. What's going on? Look at you. You look like a fool, Lucky. Oh my God. I'll post some pictures of this later. Oh my God, bro. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Why play 4 regulars in the fourth quarter? Well, I could tell you why they did that. It's because they've been off for a bunch of games, and he's trying to, not just have him get out there and sit again. So I get that. And that's another thing, the layoff. Minnesota also had a layoff, but the Lakers had a little rust. I heard a lot of people. I talked about it too, about the amount of time the Lakers were going to be off because they secured the 3rd seed. That could be good or bad. I've seen it play both sides. In this case, looks like it was a little bad for the Lakers. Looks like it wasn't too bad for the Wolves, right? So you would think that LeBron, 40 years old, some guys nursing some injuries, that this would have helped, but it didn't. It really didn't. So they're going to have to, get out there in less than 48 hours. Big Baby, what's up, man? Game 2 is a must win. It is, because it's a home. It's home. If this was in Minnesota, it would not be a must win. But the fact you have a chance to go 0-2 at home, it is a must win. I agree. Let's see. Yep, LeBron, first game, 1 at home. Yeah, that's just crazy. Like that's nuts. But it's because 2020 was the bubble, and they haven't had a top seed since then. Nicholas said off ball, pin down screens, and giving up switches of Nas and AR with no adjustments. Yeah, the off ball. Yeah, that's the thing I was mentioning earlier. It's just ridiculous. Dalton should have played more for 3-point spacing. Well, I mean, you put Dalton in there, you're pretty much punting your defense, and it was a game you couldn't stop anyone to begin with, and there's no guarantee he's going to make his threes. The Lakers had guys who can make threes. They just didn't make them. Anyone else felt Lakers crowd was quiet throughout the entire game and need deafening cheers? Well, the Lakers didn't give them much to get going with after that first quarter. I felt like I heard them in the first quarter, when the Lakers are doing some things. Didn't give them much to cheer about after that. Jaden McDaniels, 25 points. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a Jaden McDaniels game. We may not see that the rest of the series, but he gave it, right? He gave it. He did his. Now, what if we have a Julius Randle 30-point game? Like I said, what if we have a Mike Conley 20-point game? What if you have a DiVincenzo 20-point game, right? So he had that game already. So that's one thing there. Now, okay, now who's the next guy going to do it? But the Lakers can do that too. Who's going to be their guy to have another big game? Wolves' physicality and no ref calls played a huge factor. Vando showed up with playoff intensity defensively. I felt Vando got out there and tried. He had a great catch around the rim, kick out the gate for that 3. He got in Randall's head a little bit. He had, I felt like he gave good activity out there, but in a game like this, Vando can't, when you're down 20, Vando can't do much for you, right? He can't hit threes. He's not going to do, going on offensive run to help you get back in the game, right? Vando's when you're up 10, you got a guy who will help suppress that lead. He can help you maybe extend that lead. He can do some things. When you're down 20 and you need some guys who can put the ball in the basket, Vando's kind of going to hurt there, and everybody knows that's my guy. But Vando definitely was not one of the problems tonight. Do you think Minnesota can shoot 19 threes? Shoot, yes. Make, probably not. But in today's NBA, 19 to 23s made is not as shocking as it used to be. If the Lakers don't switch up their strategy, Big Baby, then yes, they can. They can. Because, again, top 10 offense, top 10 defense. They're going to make you miss. They're going to get out. They're going to run. And top 10 offense, which means they can score and they can shoot. What's going on, Maurice? I say let Ant go off and close out on everyone. That's the thing, right? Let him do his thing. And if you're coming off the corner for Juju, right? If you're coming off the corner for him, for Randall, I'm actually pretty much okay with that. Even if he makes it, you live and die with it. I think he was 3 for 6 tonight. How often is that going to happen, right? He's improved tremendously. But you pick your poison. I'd rather have him shooting that 3 than Nas. 21 threes. Yeah, David. Insane, man. Insane. What's going on, David? Pale. What's going on, Pale? 2 games that separate the 3 through 8 seed in the West. They're all good. Yeah. And the West is the West. The West been the West, right? We know this. But that's why game 1 was so important. You had to get this game. Because if you just give them back home court after you worked all season to get it, now you got to take it back. You absolutely got to take it back now. I felt the DFS is timid offensively. Well, for someone like DFS, he relies on other people to get him open, right? So JJ's got to run some things for him. He's got to get in some screen and rolls. He's got to get some pick and pops with Luka and LeBron. He's got to have a little bit more activity there. He's not a guy that's going to create his own shot. I felt like he had some good spots in the first half. He hit a 3 off a good catch and shoot. I think it was off of a offensive rebound, which the Lakers were killing them. But here's the thing. The Lakers were getting most of their offense off of offensive rebounds, which is one, rare for the Lakers. And two, you knew that was probably going to go away. So that was their way of getting buckets. They kept saying it on the broadcast over and over that their first initial defense on the Lakers was great, but then they'd give up the offensive rebound and the Lakers would make them pay. It was a matter of time before that went away. They were going to adjust on that. And when they did that is when the game turned. And I think that's one point that no one's really talking about. But DFS, like I said, that's what Luka's got to create for him. LeBron's got to create for him, and it makes the defense stay honest when you got a guy like that who's hitting shots. The Wolves just generate great open looks. The Lakers have a hard time with their offense. They were so ISO heavy in this game. They were. Bench is super concerning on the offensive side of the ball. It is. And like I said, we need 3 guys. We need one guy above 25. We need another guy at above 20, near 25, and we need another guy at about 18. And I'm talking about like through the flow of the game, like all of them getting busy, like, first half solid from all of them, right? We don't have that. When our 3 guys aren't bringing it, then we fall into trouble, right? And because Bron and Austin really did nothing in that first half, we were in trouble. We were absolutely in trouble at that point. This game turned when they couldn't score. I don't like how their defense is dependent on their offense. Would like more will to fight. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I agree. Lakers shot 39%. They won't be that bad to get in the series. Book it. I don't think they'll be that bad, but they're not a lights out shooting team. It's not like they're going to come in here and put up a bunch of threes and make them. But they can make them and they can take them and make them. But I don't expect them to shoot north of 50%. I expect them to shoot like they did in OKC or like Minnesota did tonight. But they're more capable. But again, this all relies on your 3 guys offensively need to get theirs and help create for others. And that's Luka, LeBron, and Austin. Those 3 guys got to get theirs and set up others. If that's not happening, this team is cooked. It's pretty simple. Jeremy, what's going on, Jeremy? What's good, bro? What's the adjustment you are recommending to make against the T-Wolves? I mean, I would do a combination of things. It's not just as easy as making one. Like offensively, I would bring them out a little more. I try to get more switches and I try to get Gobert out in some screening roles, try to get him in some foul trouble. He can guard guards on the perimeter. He's a good switching center. But when you take him away from the rim, you get other guys around the rim, and those guys guarding the rim down there now are not natural rim protectors, and maybe you get some of those guys in foul trouble. And that's what you got to do. Pull him out, get some things going, get your guys movement, get movement on the from the other guys in the corner and on top. Don't just ball watch Luka. Get creative. Like run, screen, and roll. Rui, Luka, Braun, Luka. Austin can do pick and rolls. You can Jackson Hayes literally gives you nothing if he's not a lob threat on offense, right? In a half court set. So you've got to utilize him somehow. Get him out there, try to get the switch. And on defense, you don't have to trap on everything. You don't have to trap on everything. And I understand that they like the fact that they can switch all 5. But sometimes you get crossed up. And when you got guys that aren't going to step out, or you got Rui over hedging, or you got him not closing out on the corner. This is what I'm saying. When you have Rui, LeBron, Austin, Luka, Hayes, okay, this is your starting 5. This is why I've always said a DFS or a Vando. This is why I've always preferred a guy like that in the starting lineup, because you have at least one guy who's going to know where to go on defense, and then that will be his main role. None of these guys are primarily defensive first in the starting lineup. Now you're this far in the season, you're in the playoffs, you've gotten this far with it. I totally understand that. But the playoffs is totally different. And when you got 5 guys who are out there not known for defense, and you're in a playoff series where a guy is scheming against you for 7 games potentially, not focusing on any other team but your misfortunes, things like this can hurt you. So an adjustment, I would like to see a DFS or a Vando in the starting lineup for defensive purposes, to force some turnovers, to get a little edge on guys. Vando's a guy who can go in there and muck it up. He could be a disruptor. He can get in someone's head. Now, is Vando going to get you 20? No. Can Rui? Yeah, but Rui can give up 30. So my adjustment would be to get some of these defensive guys in a little earlier and have your offense be a little bit more fluid to get the other guys involved early and often. And you got Luka, who's your clutch guy. Not clutch sports. You got Luka, who's supposed to be the guy to finish games for you. Let LeBron get going early. Let Austin get going early. Let Luka close it out. Now, it's great if Luka gets 6-8 points a quarter. Cool. He's our closer. He don't have to always be our opener. We have other guys that can do it, but if he's going to be our opener and our closer, that puts us in a bad spot because the other guys don't have rhythm at the beginning or end of the game. And yeah, that's where you run into trouble. First adjustment is getting Vando in the game. I just talked about this. See, same page. Getting Vando in the game earlier and giving more minutes to Jackson Hayes because he provides rip. There it is. I mean, to me, it's fairly obvious, and I believe they will because it is that obvious. Apparently, a week off hurt this team. I mean, maybe, but what hurt this team was just the shooting in Minnesota. That's what hurt this team. Kane, what's going on, Kane? Bro, I pulled up to LA, had Howland Rays, like you said, kind of underwhelmed. The sauce was bitter to me. What? Which one did you go to? You said LA? I've only had the one in Pasadena. It's fire. I don't know which one you went to, but man, I will push back on that relentlessly. Bring Rui off the bench ASAP, says Kane. Jeremy says, on offense, we need to attack Conley and Rudy Gobert. Absolutely. Absolutely. She was like, I'll show you. But she came in holding him and then walked out. He has like the ears, and he already has the beagle ears, and now he has the bunny ears. I'm like, my God, man, this dude. Yeah. I look at him, he's looking at me like, you doing it? You're gonna let her do this to me? You're gonna let this happen? I just walked in, he's looking at me like, and then he was like, oh yeah. Then he caught a glimpse of himself and was posing, this guy. Vando also needs to be more perimeter defender than a small ball five. I feel like we let them off the hook, having him under the rim. Vando was great as a disruptor of passing lanes and being a pass. Yep, absolutely. That's what I've always said about him. But the problem is when we have one big, we got lack of options in that category. So it makes it difficult. Would you consider swapping Gabe for Goodwin's minutes? Team needs rebounds. Goodwin's going to get some minutes, as he should. But Gabe, they're counting on him to make threes and guard the perimeter. But Goodwin, I think, will get some run. If Gabe ain't making threes, then Goodwin, should be biting those minutes because he's like a mini and good at getting rebounds in tight spaces. I agree. Randall's the perfect player to bother and get under his skin. Facts. Big Baby says, is game 2 a must win? I think I answered that like 3 times. Big Baby, stop coming in and out of the show asking the same question, bro. Come on. Stay in the show. You'll hear me answer it. No, I'm just playing. Yes, it is a must win. It is a must win. What's going on, Dwight? Hope you're doing well, my guy. Appreciate you for tuning in, brother. Thank you. Too much help defense, my guy. Yeah, way too much help defense. And that's the problem. To me, that's overcompensating. That's a little bit of panic there. That's a rookie head coach. That's a rookie head coach in his first. I think a lot of people are forgetting this was his first playoff game as a head coach. His first. There's going to be mishaps. He's overachieved this season as a head coach, as a rookie NBA head coach. He's overachieved, in my opinion, for my estimation. I don't know what you guys feel. I would assume you feel the same. 3rd seed in the Western Conference, his first year. I would say he's overachieved. That's just my opinion. Outside of that, he's also going to be going up against no other rookie head coach in these playoffs. So he's gonna have to put this work in. Again, he has his staff, he has a good crew over there, but at the end, it's his decision. He may not be necessarily listening to everything they're telling him. And too much help defense is a problem, absolutely. Pale says we just need to drive to the hoop. That's the adjustment. There definitely needs to be some of that, but Minnesota's not just gonna allow you to drive to the hoop. And when you're in a half-court offense, you can't just get there when you want every time. Now you got to force misses and get out. Then yeah, it killed us. It did. Jason Jimenez, what's going on, Jason? Hey Jeff, do you think Maxi Kleber can play? Maxi together with DFS could be a good adjustment. I mean, I don't know what type of player Maxi will be. Maxi did not have a very good start to this year. Maxi has had moments in his career where he's been really solid. I'm not convinced he's that guy anymore. But sometimes guys come back for an injury and they come in and then they make all the difference in the world. And some guys come back from injury and they look like a guy that's come back from injury. You never know. You never really know until it happens. But I would say that I would not hold out hope that Maxi Kleber is the impact that can, put us over the top. 50% from 2 is a must. Dunks, layup, etc. Absolutely. Search, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you as always, my guy. Thank you for tuning in. The mod god, the god mod, the mod of gods. Appreciate you, brother. JJ got to manage his timeouts better. We went into the second half with 3 timeouts, and that may have been nerves involved. Well, that's the thing. And this is what I've always talked about when it was back to the Darvin ham bashing, right? Which, again, I'm not here to defend Darvin, but what I'm saying is everyone wanted to go ahead and just throw all the timeouts out in the first half. Use your timeouts. Use your timeouts, and then you don't have them later. So here you have a guy who uses his timeouts, and rightfully so, you're mentioning that's not wise, right? So yeah, you can't go into the second half when you're losing with 3 timeouts. Now you do have the TV timeouts. It's national TV game. You do get a little bit of extension there. But for my money, I wouldn't like to have more timeouts than that going into the second half. And you can't just give away timeouts like they're candy. He did have a stretch there when they were going on that run and going. He didn't use one. And then he used them kind of a little too quick after that. So it's like timeouts is always about the feel of the coach, the strategy of it. I know a lot of people go with the narratives on it. But if you actually look into the data, if you actually ever coached timeouts, I'm not going to say timeouts aren't effective because that'd be crazy. Timeouts are effective, but for different reasons. If your guys are tired, that's one thing. If there's an adjustment you need to make via the timeout, very important. But if you're just calling timeout just to say, hey, get out there and play better, that's a wasted timeout. If you don't have an adjustment and it's not for rest, do not use it. Calling a timeout also differs whether you're at home or on the road. Calling a timeout just to call a timeout, and everyone thinks you're going to come out of that timeout with some kind of grand scheme just because you used the timeout. That's not the case. Also, home and road is different. When you're on the road and a team is going crazy, you call that timeout, that erupts the crowd. So sometimes you don't want to use that timeout because you don't want to liven the crowd up even more. So there's different things here, right? But if you don't have the adjustment and it's not for rest, the timeout is pointless. And I said this a lot last year, and I think a lot of people didn't get it because I don't really expect them to. But a timeout majority of the time isn't the answer. The adjustment is. You can do adjustment on the sideline. You can do adjustment during a free throw. You can do adjustment during an out of bounds. Like, you don't need a full minute to do an adjustment, right? You can tell them you can do a switch of coverage. You can do a switch on offense. There's a lot of things you can do that you don't need a timeout for. Let's see. Went to the one in Chinatown. Okay, I can't speak to that one. The one in Pasadena, for way go. Mr. X, what up, man? Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. I told you the Minnesota Lakers is one hell of a team. Yeah, the Minnesota Transstand people are going to be on it right now, huh? For real. Halma Rays in Chinatown, LA. Okay, yeah. The one I go to is in Dina, man. Jeremy says, I feel like against Minnesota, you can get off to a quick start against them in the first quarter because they don't bring in Naz Reid until around 6 or 7 minutes. Yeah. And then if he's on, then it's 2 shots and they're back in the game. If he's not, then you can extend it. Absolutely. LA is beauty though, man. I want to move here. Oh, LA's gorgeous, man. Gorgeous. And you picked a good day. The weather's good today. The weather's been kind of whack like the last, I don't know, week or so. It's been like low 60s, cloudy. Today was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It was nice today. The women were out today. You can tell the weather's nice, man. The women come out. The women come out. So it was nice out today, man. Real nice out today. You think this team is constructed for the playoffs? Finesse plays doesn't translate well. Well, when you got a guy like Luka, you're built for a playoffs. Now, built for a championship this year, that remains to be seen. But you got a guy like Luka, you got Braun who can still play at a high level. Yeah, this team is built for the playoffs. Now, if you're asking me, are they built to win a championship? That's a different question. That remains to be seen. They would not be one of the 2 or 3 favorite teams in the league to do so. No. But playoffs, absolutely. This team is definitely capable of constructed to be a playoff team. The good news is we lost with Austin and Braun struggling. If we still lost with Braun, Luka, and Austin having monster games, and that is bad news, Braun will not have to struggle like this, I hope. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they need. This was a statement win for Minnesota. The Lakers need a statement win in game 2. They need to go back to Minnesota like, we just beat y'all ass. We just beat y'all ass. And then we're going to beat y'all ass in Minnesota. That's what they have to do. They have to beat their ass. And if they don't beat their ass, they're going to have some problems. They're going to have some problems. Honestly, I'm not shocked. Most people from here end up staying unless is out of the country. LA is too beautiful to ever get tired of. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm telling you, man, the weather, you picked a good day again. You picked a good day. You picked a good day for LA. It's been a little funky weather-wise the last handful of days, man. But the Lakers, though, they had some bad weather tonight. They had some bad weather themselves tonight. So rough day in LA, man. They lost. Dodgers lost on a walk-off home run in Texas. For those few people in LA that like the Clippers, they lost. You know, LA was just losing everywhere today. LA was losing everywhere today, man. not that we really care about the Clippers, other than it was fun to watch them lose, but yeah, LA took number L's today, man. I don't know, I'm not roping in Anaheim here, so I don't know what they did tonight. But Lakers lost, Dodgers lost. Dodgers, that was a very, very winnable game that just slipped away at the end. That was BS. Lakers, this game was over. I felt like the tide turned. I saw like halfway through the first quarter. I was like, oh man, Luka's the only thing cooking. Other guys aren't doing nothing. Ball watching. The defense is not on proper rotations. Minnesota's getting it going. It felt like the Lakers just never were really in this game, in my mind, competitively after like 6-7 minute mark of the first quarter. I was sitting there by like halfway through the second quarter. This game's over. This game's over. Body language, energy. When you see a team that's like, I've seen enough of these games where a team steals one on the road. I've seen enough of these games where you see the bench going wild, getting all into it, standing up for everything. They're locked in. They're cued in. I've seen enough of those. When I'm like, they stole one. They stole one. I've seen enough of those in my time. Seen enough of them. And about halfway through that first quarter, I'm like, oh man, they stole one. They stole one. And I've seen it plenty of times. We've been on both sides of it as a Laker fans. We've stolen them. We've had them stolen. We've had them stolen. We stole it back. We stole it, had it stolen back, which is why, man, those tables turn. Those tables turn. At the end of the day, no one knows what's going to happen. We just going to watch, talk about it, give our opinions on it. And we're going to sit back and watch the professionals do what they do and see how the chips fall. But, outside of that, I think I can kind of, pretty much speculate. And like I said, I've talked about the adjustments I think they're going to make. I also think that Minnesota is going to be prepared for some of those adjustments, obviously, and they're going to make their own adjustments. Lakers, while only employing their own adjustments, got to worry about Minnesota having some wrinkles there too. Now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're going to try the same stuff. And when they realize the Lakers made adjustments, they're going to have a counter. They're going to have a counter. And then it's about being ready for that counter and doing what you got to do. But at the end of the day, no strategy, no scheme. None of that's going to matter if Luka, Braun, and Austin don't have things going offensively in the first half. Collectively. None of it's going to matter. No scheme, no philosophy, no strategy, no mantras, nothing. Nothing's going to matter if those three guys aren't scoring. And again, and I told you so because I'm not even remotely prepared to go there because it's one game. But if Austin really wants to be labeled as that top third guy or one of the top third guys, let alone on this team, but in this league, he needs to play like a legit number 3. He's capable. We've seen it. And maybe we get a 30-point Austin game once or twice in this next 3-4 game stretch. Maybe we get it. We might. We very well might get it. We need it. He needs it. We need it. But again, we need someone at or above 30, someone between 23 and 25, and someone between 18 and 22. We need that like water. We need that. And if we get that, which is what we need to average to win, then we win. If we don't get that, more than likely we lose unless the other guys just can't make anything on Minnesota. Which the odds of that happening when your guys aren't really playing and scoring and those guys aren't scoring, like, you're probably in a lot more trouble at that point. Where did I leave off? Joseph, we got Joe, the serious sorrow. LA weather is beautiful, but LA is a monstrosity. I love LA, man. You could always tell. It's like those who don't live anywhere near it hate it. You live in it? Oh man. Do you think Austin will have one monster game in this series? I spoke on that. Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. He's earned the trust. He's earned the trust to feel that he'll have a couple good games. My I don't want to even say beef. My concern of is Austin going to do this? Is he going to be able to do this every game? Not 30, but is he going to be able to get 18 to 22 every game in the playoffs while shooting a high percentage with a decent usage? That's going to be my thing. If Austin can deliver on that, we will be in great shape. I know that's an if, but I know, I mean, that's really all you can say is if, because if he doesn't, we lose, right? So when he plays like that, we lose. I mean, we win majority of the time when the other guys are doing their thing. When Luka and LeBron do what we expect, when they get anywhere near their average, and Austin gets anywhere near his average, we are very tough to beat. When they don't, we're not. When they don't, we're not. It's pretty simple. Michael, let's go down. Michael Jeffrey, LA was 0-2 today. First the Dodgers blown lead and the Lakers blow out. The Clippers don't count. I know. But they still lost. I'm like, man, LA went like 0 for whatever today. I agree. I could tell in the first quarter we were toast. Yeah, man. I've been around enough games. I've sat close enough in NBA playoff games to see benches. You know, I've coached. I've all these things, the ins and outs, right? Like anything that's away from a TV, like the actual just like sounds and sights and body language. Like you could kind of tell. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. Like, obviously, the Lakers could have just proven me wrong and won that game. But what I'm saying is the vibe, the body language, it just felt like a stolen game. It felt like a stolen game. I was talking to my boy. He had called me, and I saw that play in the second quarter, and the whole bench was getting wild. They were mocking me like the Euro step. They were doing all this, and I was like, oh, man, that team is – they could feel it. They could sense it. They're extremely confident that they stole one. Extreme. And then I saw the Laker bench, and they looked like they got something stolen from them. You can almost see it on their faces. I'd rather Clips than Nugs plus LA Western Finals would be sick for travel. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. I don't really care which one. Let me see. Are you worried about the Lakers road games? Worried? I wouldn't say worried. I'm going to be worried if they lose game 2, but I would say we probably were always going to have to win one on the road anyways. Now we absolutely have to. So worried. My worry level where it is now is not where it will be if we lose game 2. I'm worried. I think game 2 is a must win. So that is kind of worried. But as far as worried about road games, if we win game 2, then I would feel pretty good about us being able to get one in Minnesota. I think Minnesota did something in this game to win, not just Lakers struggle. Oh yeah, for sure. Their defense, their offense, they're top 10 in both categories. I like they can definitely do it. I don't know why Big Baby is saying yum, but Jeremy says, instead of subbing out Hayes first, do you think the Lakers should also sub out Reeves too with Hayes and bring in Vando and DFS at the same time? JJ tends to do it one at a time. Well, there's some analytical metrics to that as to why he doesn't. But there's a few different reasons. But I think there are times when you can. It depends who's on the floor for the other team when you do that. It depends. So I think there may be times when you see it if our offensive guys aren't cooking and you got to muck it up a little bit, then maybe you'll see that. But DFS, I have immense confidence in DFS's ability to impact winning in a playoff scene. I've seen it. He's got to do it. And if he doesn't do it, then we didn't get what we should have got from him. But he is a guy that can impact winning on both sides of the ball. The narrative of him guarding 1 through 5 is kind of false. I mean, he can do it at a pinch, but you don't want it. He can help out 1 through 4. He can really guard 3 and 4. But when his threes are falling and he's getting the ball in his spots, it's the same thing with Vando. These guys rely on other guys to get them going. Gabe too, right? Rui to a point. So these guys need these other guys to create for them. So DFS is capable of dropping 20 in a playoff game. So was Rui. So was Austin. Technically, so was Gabe. The Lakers have a lot of guys who can get you 20 in a game. Not on their own work, not on their own merit. They get hot, hit a couple threes. Very similar to McDaniels today, right? He's not a guy who's going to go out there and just give you 25 on the regular. but he got it done today. The Lakers have guys who can give you that McDaniels game. They do. It's just a matter of when are we going to get it, if we get it. Does Lakers not fouling mean we lack physicality? Yes. Yes. So if you have no fouls, I'm going off the top of my head here, but I think it was like almost 3/4 through the second quarter before they got the first foul, I think. That's terrible. That's terrible. You want to defend without fouling, but fouling is part of defense. Any defensive guru or any top-tier defensive coach will tell you that. Now, you want to stick to your defensive principles and not hack and not make stupid fouls, but they give you 6 fouls for a reason. A foul is an advantage gained by taking an advantage away from an offensive player. So you use those fouls, layups, maybe you bump a guy off his spot if he's been killing you to that spot. You have 6 fouls for a reason. So not using them, similar to my philosophy with timeouts, using a timeout just to use a timeout is foolish. Using a foul just to use the foul is foolish. Using a foul to stop a run, using a foul to kind of get someone back who got you, using a foul because the other guy's got an advantage of you in the post or on the perimeter and you got to get out of the game or you got to get a switch or whatever it is. Using a foul, one of your players got hurt, you got to take a foul to get him out the game. You have 6 fouls for a reason. So if you're 3/4 through the second quarter, you're 7/8 through the first half of the game and you don't have a foul called yet, yeah, I think that's not good. That's not good. And anyone who tells you different is wrong. that is not good. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Like no fouls almost at halftime, and the other team isn't even crying about it. That's the part. They're not even making a big deal like they're getting away with fouls. That's it right there. And that's where the Lakers were. Joe said, lots of maybes. I don't know what Joe's talking about. He hears voices in his head. Luka with Braun, Rui, DFS, and Vanda would be a nice combo size defending and spot up shooting. What you think about G? Luka at the 1. Who you got in that scenario? Braun at the 2? DFS and Vando perimeter base. Rui, you don't really have a true big. Don't have a true 2. But ball's going to be in Luka and Braun's hand mostly. 2 spot up guys, 2 corner guys. Vando in the dunker spot, if used correctly. Defense, you got two guys who can switch very well defensively, which therefore makes Braun a better defender. I don't hate it. I worry about the rebounds. I worry about the block shots. I worry about the rim. And no real 2 out there. A lot of questions that others need to figure out. Facts. Hayes did well in the first quarter, but somehow went brain dead in the next 3 quarters. I mean, that's Hayes, though. Like Hayes will do that. Hayes will do that. Hayes has played above his minimum contract, but Hayes is not a starter in this league. He's not a starting big. He's not. And that's what the Lakers have as their starting big. So there's going to be limitations as a result of that. Big Baby said game 7 on Tuesday. They got to play like it's a game 7 for sure. Did you like Vando in this game? I like this activity. I like, him mucking it up. But in a game like this, when you're down big, is not a game where Vando can give you much. That's not his skill set. If you're up 10, I like Vando in the game. If it's a close game and you've got enough offensive guys on the floor, I like Vando in the game. Down 20, down 23, down 15. Unless he's out there just picking off passes left and right like Dion. Like, remember that game he had? So there's 2 games for me that always stick out for Vando that will forever kind of be my favorite Laker moments with Vando. One of them, and oddly enough, he got hurt in both these games, which sucks because I felt like both of these games, he turned a corner. One was in 23, one was in 24. Right after we got him in the Dallas game, we were down big at halftime, and he came in and just ran amok in that game. Turned the whole thing around. Got hurt in that game, wasn't the same the rest of the season. 2024, January in Boston, the no AD, no Braun game where Austin Reeves and Vando go ballistic, right? With each side of the ball. He gets hurt in the first half of that game. He's out the rest of the year and for a good chunk to start this year after that injury. But those 2 games show you what Vando can do when he's used correctly. And what I mean by used correctly, there was no Braun, there was no AD in the Boston one. Austin was cooking. He was filling the lanes. He knew that his usage in that game, that his activity needed to be the highest it's ever been while he was a Laker. And he did it. He did it against Boston. So with Vando, if you got guys that are making shots, if you got guys that are getting to the basket, if you got guys that can let him dive off that dunker spot, he can be very effective, especially when his defense has got him going and he's engaged. He had a great kick out to Gabe for that three. That was beautiful. He had a good play around the rim. He almost had that good take he just missed where he did the fake dribble handoff and turned around the corner. Him and Nas went to the cup. They both hit the deck. He almost made that. It was a tough shot. So no, Vando had a cool game today, but him, kind of like everyone else tonight, this wasn't enough. It really wasn't anything to really look at tonight other than Luka's first 6 minutes of the game for me. Didn't like anyone tonight. Yeah, it just didn't. There's nothing I love tonight. All the Lakers in 5 memes are gone right now. Not necessarily. I've been called Zorro my whole life. Zorro? That's interesting. Never heard that. My stage name is Johnny Blade. Stage name. I don't know if we want to know what the stage name is. Better than Zero. Oh wait, I gotta see this because it's show the streamer. Did someone put the Lucky Sorrow in the chat? I see him. The Lucky Sorrow was in the chat. Lucky Sorrow. Remember the first time he goes, "Is that me? Is that me?" What did you guys call him? You called him the dude from Everyone Loves Raymond. Joe the Serious Sorrow. Sorrow. I used to call him Joe Sorrow. There's so many nicknames I got for Joe, man. If Lakers win next 4 straight games, it would still be Lakers in 5. It would, but I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd bet money on that. I don't know if I'd do that. Jake, what's going on, Jake? I'm worried, Empire Jeff. I don't think we can beat the Wolves. Do you think we can win in game 2? Oh, yeah. I think we can win. I also think Minnesota could win, right? Guys, don't give up yet. Don't give up yet. I understand. Tonight was frustrating. I understand tonight stung. We're back in the playoffs in the top 3 seed. We got a home court advantage. We got Luka. It was lined up for us until it wasn't, right? So don't overreact. I'm not going to tell you that after game 2. If they lose game 2, feel free to overreact because it's sayonara more than likely. But don't overreact yet. Teams lose home games in the playoffs. This is not abnormal. It's not great when it happens to you, but this team is capable of getting one back. It starts in game 2, winning at home and having to split in Minnesota. They're capable. Just a matter of can they and will they? That remains to be seen. And we will see. We will see. We have no control over it. We can do nothing but sit back, watch, and observe. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see what my team brings to the table. I'm going to see how it goes. And I will reassess the series after game 2. Right now, it's 1-0. Right now, it's 1-0. If it's 1-1 after game 2, we'll be in a much better place. If it's 0-2, whoo. If it's 0-2, make sure y'all follow me over to the Dodger side, man. If it's 0-2. Let's see. All the Lakers games gone now. Okay, touched on that already. Body language was the worst part of the game. They looked mentally cooked. Yeah, that's the first thing I saw. That's the first thing I saw. Man, I'm a natural born salesman, man. Body language, I could spot. Like I know what you're thinking before you do a lot. You know what I mean? Like I can see something like, got him. Or oh, yeah, this is gonna be tough. Like body language, little ticks, little things that people do. I've been trained to spot these things, right? So, like for me, nothing felt right after that first half of the first quarter. Nothing felt right to me for this team. Nothing did. Wolves got size and athleticism. I don't think we can beat them. I'm so concerned. Do you think we can win the series? I do think we can still. Jeremy says, our original lineup job is to help us build a lead, and then our wings can come in to help protect it and extend it. Ant doesn't like when Vando was watching, and Braun can hold his own. Randall like DFS on Rudy. Yeah. But also, there's twofold to that. There's a reason why every top team that's ever won anything has that one guy that you really can't count on much offensively, but he's on there to set the tone defensively. He's a defensive captain. He's the guy that holds it down. If you look at every dynasty, they got one. Like, they got one, right? Whose role is out there to take open shots, be a little bit of an enforcer, defense, be that kind of that nasty dude. You got to have that. Lakers don't have that in the starting lineup. They don't have it without Vando in there. They don't have it. So that's a limitation to me. That's a limitation to me. So this is why I've always liked Vando in the starting lineup, because there's no secret that when Vando comes back healthy, every time he's come back, every time he's been available on this team, the stretches, when you sit here, go back and look, whenever you sit here and you see and you hear these stories of Laker seasons, the best defense since, the best record since, the best this and that since, it all correlates with a return of Vando. And this one was the return of Vando in conjunction with adding DFS. DFS's numbers of affecting this team's wins are astronomical. Even before we got Luka. Before we got Luka and we were without AD. DFS's presence, along with Vando when he came back, had this team's defense stifling people. They're very important to this team. And when they're not giving you anything, it's like they're very important to the other team because then the other team's going to beat you. So I know there's a lot of people who don't really like Vando, and I understand there's a lot of people who aren't as high on DFS as me. But the truth of the matter is we have them, and we need them to win. Now, if they move them for someone else and we get another player, that's totally different. What I'm saying is, while we have them, we need them to win because they impact winning. When they don't impact winning, we lose. Just is what it is. Every metric points to that. Fouling can disrupt the rhythm, but it has to occur when it's time. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to you, fool. Well, Joe's talking to his other personality. And this happens, guys. Just don't mind it. Joe talks to Joe, but out loud to others. It just happens. He's working on it. Got some new medication, and we're gonna see if that works. We're going to see if that works. Jason says, do you think LeBron is healthy? LeBron looks different after he got injured. And do you think he uses too much energy on defense? He has not looked right since he returned. I was hoping, kind of thinking that maybe he was just holding back a little bit and getting ready to try to ante up come playoff time. Did not get that vibe today. Maybe today was just a bad game. If he comes out kind of like that again to start the first half of game 2, then we've got problems. The rebounding is one problem, but that lineup I mentioned with Braun, Luka, Rui, DFS, and Vando help defend, dribble penetration, and give us overall better perimeter defense. Yeah. At this point, they may just have to lock in on defense and let LeBron and Luka go dummy for a little bit. Do you think Braun is injured? Okay, yeah, so I answered that. Getting embarrassed on your home floor. Come on now, man. It's like what we did to you guys. Damn, when we smoked y'all. Remember when we broke the club record in OKC? Damn. Let's see. What's going on, Kevin? It's really hard to survive playoffs without a big man. This is true. I hope Lakers would address the next season. I would like to see JJ do better in his rotation. Maybe put DFS or Vando in the starting lineup. I agree. Joe says, I think LeBron is still reeling from his groin. I agree. Don't let go of the rope, lads. Yeah, no, you're right. Vando would make sense in a lineup with Kleber at center. Vando, again, when you look, when Vando was in our starting lineup, he made it so where D'Lo and Austin Reeves could be part of a lineup that was the best defense of the league over a 3-month span. Like, he's that impactful. I don't care what no one says. People who don't see the value on guys like that bring to the table are only guys who look at offense. And, but like Allen Houston's that give you 20 points and that's it. They impact winning. Absolutely. Absolutely. Talk to any person that's ever coached this game at a high level. They will give them a Vando. They want a Vando on their team, but they've got to use them right. They've got to use them right. And if they don't, then it could affect winning in the opposite direction. But again, they've got some work to do. Game 2 is pretty much a must win at this point. And if they don't get game 2, then that's all she wrote, y'all. We out of here. We out of here. It's let's go Dodgers for the rest of the summer, which is going to be anyway. But so on that note, I'm going to go in and shut it down. I'm going to go make sure that my wife isn't doing a whole full-fledged photo shoot with Lucky over here with him as the Easter bunny, the Easter puppy, which I'm sure you guys will see the pictures later. Make sure to follow me on all socials at Empire Jeff on IG, TikTok, and Twitter X, as well as here on YouTube and on Facebook, which I always forget to promote. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. If I don't, end up doing a show tomorrow being Easter and all, enjoy it with your families for those who celebrate. Hope you guys have a great, safe Easter. If you don't celebrate, then have a great, safe Sunday in general. And if I don't talk to you guys tomorrow, I will talk to you guys on Monday. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for pulling up. It's been a while since I've done a basketball show. Y'all still pulled up. Appreciate y'all. I'll be talking Dodgers at some point when I return too. So just had to talk basketball. It's game one of the playoffs, man. I had to pull up on you guys with the purple lights. So love y'all. Stay safe. And I will talk to you guys either tomorrow or Monday. Not sure. So I'm out of here. Peace, guys. Let's go Lakers. Let's go Dodgers.